Hello everyone, Francis Welch here again with thedigitalmerchant.com, and today we're going to be discussing the top ERC specialists. So these are firms that will help you if you're trying to submit an ERC claim. They will essentially assess eligibility on your behalf, take care of the filing processes, and add some adjunct services in between as well. So I'm going to look at a few that I have assessed for the purposes of this video and make some recommendations for you depending on your needs and your business type and so on. So the ERC, first of all, I suppose it's a potentially very lucrative credit, but it has garnered a lot of publicity for the wrong reasons. It's been subject to a lot of fraud, and the IRS has come down quite hard on fraudulent and mistaken claims. There's been a lot of audits, and they've been handing out a lot of penalties. Another issue with it is that there have been huge delays in the processing of claims. Last year, the IRS noted that there are over 1 million claims outstanding and that some people had been waiting over a year to get their money. So this obviously isn't an ideal situation. These firms, part of what they offer is, I suppose, to expedite that process. So if you use their service, they should get you your money a little bit more quickly. So let's jump in. The first company I'm looking at here is IRS Plus. Now, IRS Plus is a company I've covered before on this channel, and basically I'm a big fan of most of what they do, and particularly their ERC offering. It's very well suited to small and medium businesses, so they offer free initial consultations, which first off is hugely important in this area. Most companies have no idea whether or not they qualify for the ERC, and if they do, how much they might be entitled to. So you don't want a company who's going to charge you just to tell you that much. That's essentially a waste of your money. Another big plus of IRS Plus is that they guarantee to cover any mistakes made in your claim. Again, this is a huge thing because the landscape is very complicated. Even professionals can make the odd mistake, and if there is a mistake on your claim, you don't want to be left carrying the bag for it. And then another thing that I really like about them is their client service. So they work with a huge number of clients, as you can see here. They have become quite a big operation, but they have retained that small company feel. If you sign up with IRS Plus, you'll have your own agent, and you'll be able to reach that agent throughout your claims process, which is obviously great peace of mind for any business seeking services in this area. One small note I would have is that they do offer quite a broad suite of services. If you're looking for more general financial services, I might look elsewhere. IRS Plus is quite highly specialized in the tax credit area, so I would mainly stick with that line of service offering if you want to use this company. So next, looking at Bottom Line Concepts. This is, I would say, probably the best for bigger companies. So it has a very strong track record with dealing with large cap companies. It has a lot of Fortune 500 names on its client list. And this is outside ERC even. They've been providing services since 2009, in the financial consulting and tax preparation space. But they have been highly active in ERC since the emergence of credit. And I think that experience in the corporate space is probably Bottom Line's biggest selling point. ERC claims there's no limit on the number of workers you can claim for. So if you're claiming for dozens of workers, you'll be looking at a claim worth multiple millions of dollars. And if you are, you want to provide a provider that's comfortable with this kind of scale, which is exactly what Bottom Line are. So if you look at its website, it's worked with the likes of BNY Mellon, McDonald's, Neiman Marcus. These are big companies that have huge needs in terms of tax claims. So if you are kind of in that sort of space, it might be worth looking at Bottom Line. They also are reputed for their very thorough process when it comes to assessing eligibility and returning filings as well. So with the IRS crackdowns, that's a huge selling point as well. Of course, this comes at a price. You're probably going to end up giving over a bigger chunk of your ERC clawback to Bottom Line than you might to other providers in the space. So next, we're looking at Omega Accounting Solutions. And the USP here really is the fact that Omega offers bridge loans. So if you need money very soon, if you're strapped for cash and you think ERC might be the way to get it, obviously, as I noted already, there has been a huge delay in processing of claims. So if you avail of a bridge loan, you could have money in as little as 45 days. So that is obviously something to consider. The other side of it, of course, is the fact that bridge loans come with interest. So you're going to end up paying more by virtue of that. And even if you don't take the bridge loan, you're probably still going to end up paying more for Omega than for other providers in this space. So that's just something to be aware of. Next, we're looking at Baker Tilly. Now, Baker Tilly is the biggest company we've looked at here. It's a worldwide presence in the financial services space. It even has its own Wikipedia entry. And so there are obviously pluses and minuses to that. There's a level of prestige you're going to get with Baker Tilly that you won't get maybe with other firms. And I suppose in ERC specifically, that is kind of a selling point. It is an area of tax that has become known as something of a Wild West. A lot of smaller providers taking advantage of claimants and claiming eligibility where it doesn't really exist. You're probably not going to get that with a high-profile provider like Baker Tilly that is so dependent on its reputation. On the other side, or on the other hand, I suppose the lack of specialization is something that would kind of worry me. ERC claims require a lot of niche experience. The more of these claims your service provider has done, the more efficient and comprehensive their work on your claim will be. It's not to say that Baker Tilly doesn't have competent people working on its ERC claims, but I do just prefer to see specialists working in this area if possible. There's also an international focus with Baker Tilly. They do a lot of international tax sort of stuff. ERC is very much a US tax credit. It is written in the language of the IRS, which is very specific and quite cryptic at times. So, I mean, you want a specialist working on your claim who is very literate in that language, and international experience isn't necessarily going to help with that. And one other point I'd have here is the fact that there's a corporate model to Baker Tilly that you're not getting with other alternatives. Smaller outfits do typically offer better, more personalized customer service. You want to be able to reach the agent who's working on your claim easily. You're not guaranteed to get that if you work with a big corporate firm like Baker Tilly. And so next we're looking at ERC specialists. The clue here is really in the name. They are out and out an ERC service provider. As I've noted already, this is a huge benefit. You want a specialist working on your claim. You want someone who knows the area inside out, and that's what you'll probably get here. It's also quite a simple process from the assessment of eligibility through to the filing process. And so, yeah, that's a big selling point too, because obviously it's not the most intuitive process without that kind of help. Just one point to note here, though, is that ERC specialists have stopped accepting new claims for the credit because of the ongoing IRS moratorium, and the filing deadline is also just a few weeks away. So this realistically is probably a deal breaker if you're looking for help in this area. So that's essentially it. As I noted at the start, IRS Plus is probably the best option for the biggest number of businesses. It comes in at a great price point, it's reliable, it has a lot of good reviews, and I would thoroughly recommend it if you're looking for help with your ERC claim. Omega Accounting Solutions is great if you're stuck for time and you're willing to pay a premium to get your money more quickly. And then Bottom Line Concepts I would recommend for bigger companies. In summation, though, the key message I would give to you is that you should get help from somewhere. Don't try and do this alone. The IRS will not hesitate to punish you if you get something wrong, and there are a lot of potential pitfalls that could end up causing problems for you. So don't take the risk. So that's all from me, and I'll see you in the next one.